The Mexican Supreme Court's decision declaring that prohibiting people from cultivating marijuana for personal use was unconstitutional and will lead to more debate over the issue of legalization. This is according to President Enrique Peña Nieto, who already last year hinted that he would adopt a more liberal stance on marijuana in line with other countries' policies, including its northern neighbor, the United States. Proponents of the reform argue that criminalizing drugs has only raised their street value and put unnecessary strain on the penal system by filling prisons with low-level dealers or people caught with small amounts.
The government respects the definitions of the Supreme Court of the nation, and particularly on this issue. I am also clear that this position opens a wide debate for eventually discussing a regulation on the issue of consumption of marijuana.
Many have declared the Supreme Court decision as historic, setting a precedent and opening the doors to a potential full legalization of the recreational use of marijuana. Now, it is important to note that the court only declared that it was unconstitutional, the absolute prohibition of marijuana, only for 4 plaintiffs who are members of the Mexican Society for Responsible and Tolerant Personal Use, or SMART in its Spanish initials. Now, they were granted the ability to cultivate and consume for personal use marijuana. It is worth noting that the 4 members of SMART have publicly stated that they are not interested in the private consumption or use of cannabis, but rather sought the court ruling as a way to open the door for future general legalization. Meanwhile, in response to the court's ruling, Mexico's President Enrique Peña Nieto declared that the recreational use of the substance is still illegal and that combating its usage will continue. Now, Mexico maintains very conservative anti-drug laws that criminalizes at least 14,500 people for the trafficking or consumption of the substances. Many pro-legalization's proponents point to Mexico's staggering violence of more than 100,000 dead and 26,000 disappeared since 2006 as a result of prohibition policies and the so-called war on drugs. This is Clayton Conn reporting for teleSur here in Mexico City.